Let's make some 1930s and 1940s toddler girl underwear. My name is Caitlin, and on this channel I teach old-fashioned sewing skills to make reproduction clothing. So we've been working through a series of me making as many baby and toddler stuff as I possibly can before I get pregnant, so I don't have to stress about it later. And we've been working through, we got all the baby stuff done for 20th century, we're still working on baby stuff for the 19th century. I do a lot more time periods in the 19th century, so that makes sense that I have to spend a little bit longer on it. So we are in the toddler years for 20th century. Last month we made the 19-teens and 20s little boy underwear. Before that it was the 19-teens and 20s girls underwear. And this time we're going to do 1940s girls underwear. This should be a pretty simple video. But by the 1940s, very few of these garments are actually handmade, right? You're usually buying them in the store. So while it's hard to find, at least in my experience, good panties that are the period pattern, so I'm going to make those today. But I can find slips and undershirts that are the same material, the same style as were being sold in the 1940s. So I think I'm going to purchase those and then just make up the underwear portion. So that's what we're going to do today. I think we're going to make a couple of sets because toddlers tend to have little accidents. So I'm thinking maybe 2 for the 18 months, 2 for 2T, and then 2 for 3T. So a little 6 pair in all. But I have here some very nice cotton. I think this is either lawn or wool. I think it's lawn. So it's semi-sheer, but it should be nice and light and breathable and function pretty well from underwear. So we're going to use an original pattern that I'm going to grade up. And so let's go ahead and get to cutting. Alright, let's start cutting. So I'm using a pattern that I basically found online. Well, I found it on the Commercial Pattern Archive. It's literally just an image, like it's not an actual pattern that you can use. You do have to do all the grading and that sort of thing, which I have done. It seems like it's a very easy pattern, kind of similar to the 19-teens and 1920s in terms of the shape. I specifically chose this one because it's going to be really easy. There's like no ruffles on the bottom, which I don't like doing ruffles. There's no fiddly work. It's a very simple design, and that's really why I chose this. And my thought process is I'm going to do the simple one now, but if I like this style, this may be like everyday undergarment type things. And I did not cut that on the straight, but I knew it was on the fold, so we're fine. So it's a very simple pattern. This is the front of my pattern. Actually, you know what? We're going to use this because it's going to be easier. So this is the front. So this is the front. This is going to get gathered into this. You can see how wide they are. Like they're going to be nice and full, and then we're going to gather to the front. So really all we have to do is I think I'm actually not going to gather, so I'm going to pleat this in to this, sew it up, do the hem here, and put elastic in the waistband. I also specifically chose this style because I saw a lot of yoked waist styles, which is fantastic. I think they're adorable. I think they're very flattering when you have that fitted yoke. But for children, I want elastic because it is a period in this time period, which is awesome. And also it's more adjustable, so I can have like one set of underwear that fits a variety of children. So I probably could get away with like 2 sizes instead of 3, but I wanted to see how this was going to work. So this is my 3T. So this is going to be the largest size that we make today. Alright, we're going to start by winding the bobbin and hoping that one bobbin is going to be enough. We're using my great-grandmother's 1907 machine today. Alright, now I gotta make sure the tucks are the same on either side. That's better. Two are the smallest size. I'm going to keep them together because before I do the French seaming, the other side, I need to iron this. Here's the largest size. Now all of these get to be ironed. Get ironed and turned inside out. We'll stitch this together now. Alright, I'm going to iron those side seams and then hem up the waist and the leg holes. Now we're at the last machine step for this project. We're almost done. I feel like we just started. Alright, I am going to iron those seams before we do the elastic, but I guess we can go ahead and do the other sizes. Oh, I still have one more size to do. And I cut that. Ah, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. The large ones. Okay, it definitely looks better if you start in that little V dip and then go around. That is good to know. And honestly, that does make sense. So glad I figured that out on the last one. I'm hoping they look better when they're ironed. Usually things do. I try never to make a judgment on a project until I've ironed it, because it's amazing how a little bit of pressing can make something look amazing. The waistline, and then we are done with the machine sewing. I think we're gonna go to the ironing board. I thought about embroidering the sizes on there, but I remember that I have the stamps that are waterproof that we used on all the 19th century stuff to size it, and so I think I'm gonna go with that. It makes a lot more sense. It's gonna look more professional anyway, so I think we'll go ahead and do that. So we'll do this seam on the both of them, and then we'll go to the ironing board. Alright, we'll just iron this. Get it all nice, crisp, and pressed. It's the largest one. Let's see. Oh yeah, it looks better now. Not gonna say it looks great. I'm thinking binding these next time might be the best bet. Okay. This is the largest one, so this will be 3T. I'm gonna go ahead and mark it. Get my archival ink. So it's acid free, and it's also permanent and waterproof. There's 3. T. And I like to press it with heat. About 10 seconds. Turn that right side out. Do the same thing with the other one. And then the camera battery is about to die, so I'm going to let that charge while I do the other sizes. And hopefully then it'll last, just so I can put elastic in and do the ending part, because that's all we have left. Alright, let us put in some elastic. Okay. So I cut the small elastic to be 9. Basically, I'm cutting it to the exact smallest size that is considered normal for the size. So 18 months, it said the average waist size would be 19.75 inches to about 20.5 inches. I did 19.75, and then of course with the overlap, that's going to make it smaller. For a 2T, which is what I'm working on right now, I cut this to 20.5 inches. Pin this down so it doesn't go through on accident as I pull this. I'm going to overlap about an inch or so, and then just stitch this in several times. I'm going to do 3 rows of somewhat larger running stitches. And then I'm using a hand stitch just to And then I'm using a whip stitch just to whip this shut. I didn't feel like there's any particular need to put it back through the machine. And this will distribute the elastic and the gathers a little bit. Okay. And there's one. Okay, let's do a 3T one. It looks like 21 to 21.5 inches is normal. Just going through and making sure there was no gaps in it. There we go. And I'm using 3/8 inch cotton swimwear elastic. I have like 2 cases of this 60-yard long elastic. Let's go ahead and see them on, well, not hangers. I guess I could put them on hangers, but they're gonna look kind of funny. I guess I'll just put them on a chair or something. We'll figure that out. Alright, there we are. Just put them on a chair. I just pinned them in and they look great. So, I know it's hard to tell, but there is definitely a size difference. They are very bloomy. I think a little bit more than the original illustration. I think I could probably take maybe an inch off that fold line, get it about 2 inches narrower on either side, and I think we'd be a little bit better, but I do like it. I think as far as 20th century underpinnings go, this might be my favorite set. I do like how this looks, and I think paired with a simple little slip, little purchase slip, this is going to be perfect. I like this a whole lot better than the whole back buttoning ones that we made for the 19 teens and 20s, but at different time periods, different things were normal. So I guess by the 1930s and 40s we figured out that elastic is awesome and it allows children to be a little bit more independent in their bathroom activities. So I'm liking this a whole lot better. It's more convenient, I think, to wear and to use when they're separate. So I'm quite happy with this. I think, again, we'll kind of just play it by ear whether I need any more. I don't anticipate needing any. I think we may give underpinnings a break after doing the toddler stuff. We'll work on dresses and clothes and that sort of thing, things that can be used, the outer garments and such. But we still have a lot of outer garments to go. We made summer dresses. We haven't even looked at winter clothes or anything like that. So that's gonna be a whole process. And then next year, so just so y'all know where it's going on, next year I'm starting to do 18th century. Because Rhett wants to start 18th century, and so I'm starting a whole new time period. And given this is going to be a thing for the next 5 or 6 years or so at least, I'm going to start making baby stuff for 18th century as well. So I do a lot more 19th century than I do 20th or 18th century. So we'll still do one 19th century project a month for children and then one 19th century project a month for women. But we're going to alternate months with 18th and 20th century. So we're only going to get to 6 projects next year with the 20th century, and we'll do 6 projects with the 18th century. So next month, we will not be doing the toddler boy underwear for the 1930s and 40s. We're going to be doing 18th century stuff. I think we're going to start with caps. I wanted to start with diapers, but apparently Burnley and Trowbridge sold out of their diaper cloth, and it's not going to be here till January, which is when that video is supposed to go out. So we're going to switch a couple videos around and get to diapers down the road. So we'll start with 18th century next month, and then we'll come back to the 1930s and 40s toddler boys underwear. And then after that, I think we're going to work on wintering outfits and maybe some outerwear. And then that'll be the end of the year by the time we even get that done. Anyway, I think that's about it for this month. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe to the channel, click that little bell notification so you're notified anytime I upload a new video. And as always, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you back here in the next video.